So this next story is one of my first experiences with MS-13, actually. And you guys know, I came to Honduras, almost 10 years ago now with almost nothing, didn't speak the language. So that was a very difficult time in my life, of course, but I had to learn Spanish and very quickly learn the culture, and, I was thrown into it. I got in with some people that I'm not proud of, having worked with them, and was in San Pedro Sula for a while, a little over a year, and it was one of the hardest times of my life, learning Spanish and then having to work with being involved directly with people that I would have rather not been involved with. But really quickly, I'll share this story here. So I'm living in a neighborhood very close to what they call Rio Blanco in San Pedro Sula, and it's very heavily controlled by MS-13. The guys had a little car wash on the street corner. Just imagine like terrible, dirty shantytown shacks and stuff. Uh, the MS-13 guys just live amongst and control this area, and they have, they maintain. They're so good at the real gray man theory, and this is part of where I started learning it from. What I teach, that they would, have a shack, dirt floor, corrugated tin, nothing, and but still have a AK-47 buried in the dirt floor, for when they needed to dig it up and do business. It's just really eye-opening. But local business was selling drugs. We talked about in the beginning of this video. I did forget to say, they control their local area. They extort the local business owners, and then they very strongly control two aspects of the drug trade. They allow people to pass through with drugs, which is difficult to control, but they incredibly strongly control drug sales in their area. So that's iron fist of that. The car wash they had on the street corner in front of this really bad neighborhood, it's like on the other side of the river. There's a main road and there's a car wash there, and that's where they sold their drugs from. So I live on near there, not in that neighborhood, a little, a nicer neighborhood on the other side of the river. Guy moves in next door. There was a house came up for rent next door, and this is these houses are like all slammed next to each other with just block walls and barbed wire in between them, and then there's apartments over here and this over there. This guy's renting in this neighborhood, and a guy that I knew from that area, he was outside and he says, "Hey Greg, come here, come talk to this guy." And I was like, "Okay, what's up?" And so this guy comes out, and he was like he's a Latin guy, but he says to me in English, perfect English, super hood accent English. "Hey man, whatever you need, I got you. What's up? Where are you from?" "I'm from California." He's talking like real hood gangster California dude. And I'm just like, man, what's the deal with this? And so I'm not wanting to talk to him, but he lives right there, so I'm not trying to be like super rude. I'm just like, "Oh yeah, cool man, yeah, I'll let you know anything I need, thanks." You know what I mean? And he's like, "Yeah man, I just got out of prison in California, and man, I'm Honduran, but I've never been here to Honduras. I was born here, and my parents brought me con un coyote with they smuggled me across the border when I was a baby, and so I grew up in the States. And I'm MS-13 hardcore, this, that, and the other, and I'm setting up shop. This is going to be my territory. Da da da. Anything you need, I got you. Da da da." So he's setting up shop. He thought it was like the States, I guess. And I was like, wow. And my friend was like, "Yeah, what an idiot. Like this guy, he's not going to be around long." And I didn't know any better. At that point, I was wet behind the ears just off the boat. I had just got here. And sure enough, a couple days later, my friend was like, "Yeah, hey, you remember that dude?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, man, He's in the 150 pieces over there in the apartment next door. Uh, and this goes to show you how fragmented MS-13 is. He was an MS-13 in the U.S., but he came to San Pedro Sula and started selling drugs when the actual MS-13 had full control. And the guy that I say is my friend, at that time, we had some loose associations, right? I never really considered him a friend. But I had, let's say, worked with him. And that friend just so happened to know the head of the MS-13 in the area, and I'm sure that he told, I'm not sure, right? But I figure, I'm not going to say I know that or not. He probably told the head of the MS-13, hey, this guy's over here. Is he legit or not? Maybe just asked him. Well, that guy, even though he was MS-13 in California or from wherever in the prison system in the U.S., he wasn't part of the same sect of MS-13 that controlled San Pedro at that time. So that just goes to show you these gangs aren't like what you think they are, like these massive Fortune 500 companies where everybody has a group email, and says, hey, is so-and-so legit? In the United States, they have verification methods that even involve telling of elaborate stories. They'll ask you about a house on the corner of Baker Street and how many rooms are in the house and how many beds does the house have, and they'll question certain things, and it's called knowledge, and you have to have this knowledge in order for them to verify that you are actually who you say you are in that gang. But there's such loose association, and these guys are such maniacal criminals that are just doing so much drugs and so out of their minds with such short lifespans and so prone to violence that there's really they're killing each other as much as they're killing anybody else. So this final story I'm telling you is just a real quick reference, letting you know what you're dealing with. The good that we can take from that is that because they're not so unified, it is possible for a person with tactical knowledge and experience and courage to fight against these gangs. It is possible because they don't have such tight networking. That's probably their biggest disadvantage, and our biggest advantage, being honest, hardworking, dedicated people and protectors like we are. So that's the story. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually don't think about this stuff every day or very often at all, because I try to eliminate this nasty stuff from my mind, and my brain has this amazing function so that I don't have so bad of PTSD that it just kind of eliminates this stuff. And praying and asking God to help me purify my thoughts and my mind and the way that I live helps a lot. But I share these stories so that we can learn from them, right? And when I get into them, a lot of times I start remembering more and more stuff that happened, and because I don't often go there. But I'm probably purging with this stuff, these stories. I'm putting them out there. They'll be out there. They're on the internet, and then they'll pretty much be erased. I'm not gonna. What I keep is the knowledge and the experience of how to deal with these situations, and that's what I'm sharing with you as well. So if we get to the point in the U.S. where gangs are this powerful, or where we lose the rule of law, what you can take from this is don't let them get their hooks in. And if you find yourself in a situation where they have access to your information, or they're in communication with you, you have to figure out a way to eliminate them and go, full stop, whatever you want to call it, the whole 9 yards. You have to put yourself in there. Unless you want to shut down shop and move to another place and change everything, which got a really cool video on that, on how to escape, how to change who you are, how to disappear, so that's one way to deal with gang pressure. I've got an amazing video on that, extremely popular here on the channel. You can see I've got a fake mustache in the thumbnail. Check that out. How to escape a warrant, I think it's called, but it's the same applies with how to escape anything and become a different person, so to speak. So check that out. And I hope this video helps. Again, questions, comments, and shares. Thanks for watching. Bone out.